about it. Now listen to what I gotta say. Sarah!
It's trying to rape me!
Okay, so today's lesson is about Black Wall Street.
Come on out, boy!
Okay, class. Let's exit in orderly fashion. Come on.
I ain't done yet!
Okay, so today's lesson is about Black Wall Street.
Watch now on tranquilinferno.com.
tranquilinferno.com. The link for that is in the description box right now. Promo code Viral10. Click Viral10 into the promo code and get your 10% off. Do it now, I implore it. Dope movie, dope film, dope director. Let's get it done. Want a live interview with Viral Hip Hop News? Email me, Sam Ant, at dlsmediainc1@gmail.com. Let's go.
Talk about Durk's dad, because he made, I think, a profound statement the other day when he was talking about, when exactly the feds actually started, getting on to his son. So I'm going to play what he said, and then we'll wrap up.
With the recent case that they brought against your son, we haven't seen any comments about it from yourself. We would just like to know your feelings on the matter so that we can share with the wider public.
Alhamdulillah. We first like to thank everyone for their support, their love, the encouraging words that they gave us as a family. We thank the fans and everyone who stood by us. I leave all legal issues to the lawyers to break that thing, what's dealing with that, the legal issues behind it. As far as the family, as far as me as a father, one thing I said that it's mighty strange that once he started doing good out there, once he stayed away from all the gangbanging and dissing the dead and doing things out there in the street, when he turned his life around, when he on his deen now, practicing religion, doing things for the community, bringing about peace in Chicago and throughout various cities, all of a sudden now he being indicted, just right off the Muslim conference that we had in Chicago calling for peace. Now, 3 to 4 days later, he's being indicted after that. When he put up on his concert, all the people that got killed in Chicago, showing that this is not what it's about again, he get indicted. But now he's being indicted for that. So look at the bigger picture here. Look at what the government trying to do. They always got their whole thing is you doing wrong, you doing bad, then that's good for them because that fill up the prisons. But when you start doing right and telling people to stop doing wrong, then all of a sudden you're an enemy to them and they have to lock you up.
That's obviously Durk's dad. I'm interested to hear your perspective on that, man.
Here's my thoughts. One, as a father, I'm always going to defend my son. Like, right, wrong, or indifferent, I'm going to defend my son. And yeah, he can be right when it comes to, it's unfortunate that once Durk started, for what it looked like, turning his life around, that's when the feds came after him. But what I don't like about this situation, because it's something I don't like, is that brother did some serious time. That brother was in the streets. His father, Durk's dad, did some serious time, just got out. You was in that system. You were knee deep in that system. You know exactly what they do. You know exactly how they move. You know exactly how they act. Does that erase all the demonistic shit your son did and didn't have to pay for yet? Does that erase the alleged bodies that are on the blood that is on his hands because he's all of a sudden changed religion? Does that bring people's families, the members of their families back that are no longer here? Does that erase all the chaos that was caused in Chicago because of that? It doesn't. And what bothers me is the lack of fucking accountability and the pointing their fingers instead of pointing the thumb. And it's just like, yo, like I said, I understand you're going to defend your son. I get it. I would defend mine right, wrong, or indifferent. But I feel like there's just a slight bit of lack of accountability to what his son and his actions caused him to be in, whether he turned his life around 1 year, 6 months, 10 years down the road. Hey, man, you did some demonistic shit, and somebody's coming to pay the piper. So I feel him, but at the same time, it's like, bro, your son made his bed, you gotta lay in that shit, if allegedly this is all true.
Yeah, and a lot of times what happens is, these guys do a lot of dirt, and then they become, they become Muslim and stuff, and they feel like just because they did that, they're not going to have to pay for the destruction that they cause.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It kind of reminds me a little bit of Jeff Fort. I think Jay-Z makes reference to him in a song or two. Leader of the El Rukin, Black Peace Stones, the Black Stone Nation, whatever the case may be. you know, he started off with the street gang stuff, doing a lot of shit. They even accused him of trying to do a bomb with Gaddafi or something like that. But then after a while, he turned things around. You know what I mean? And he started saying, "Look, all right, I got to use this shit for good." So at a point in time, he started using, changing, speaking out against drugs and things like that. And I'm not sure the timeline exactly when he was popped, whether he changed in jail or not, whatever the case may be. But when he's speaking on his whole history, though, of organizations in this country that were targeted by the FBI. I'm not sure if he's using it in the right context.
Right.
But there is obviously truth to that when you look over the history and things like that. It seems like, okay, now, like, used on all this gangbanging stuff and this and that. Now, all of a sudden, you want to, do some good. Nah, you ain't unifying shit. We'd rather you do some bad things. We'd rather you kill. You're not going to use this shit for unification. You're not going to use this to start bringing people together. Is that true in some instances? Yes. Right. Is it true in Durk's instance? I don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know yet. But it definitely has, even like they painted the Black Panthers. And then you're not even that. Like, they infiltrated gangs. They infiltrated organizations. Not only black, white, Spanish, all different type of things. And started turning them against each other. So there's a whole... It's kind of hard to trust the FBI.
Of course.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But did you hear that they got like 5 gigabytes supposedly of dirt on him? 20,000 pages. Like, they supposedly got so much stuff on this young man. And again, it's just speculation. I don't think they bluffing.
Yeah.
So it may be over for Durk. But I think his dad. I don't know if he's trying to invoke an emotion in us by saying that, but it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, and people can argue once he stopped doing good, that's when they got him. Well, that's when the book closed on his destruction. And they said, okay, let's move in. And, like, okay. And you know what this reminds me of? What's the bro's name we interviewed? Mine is slipping my mind right now. He was an artist on Bad Boy who got locked up. G-Dep.
Yeah.
If you really about it and you really want to confess for your sins, go walk in that thing and confess on what you did. Sit down and really cleanse your spirit if that's what you want to do. Don't hand out turkeys and do All My Life songs with J. Cole and think that that's the way of cleansing all the wrongs you did. That's not how this shit works. And we ain't out here capping for the government and any of that. They some dirty mother effers. But let's talk about what you did for a second and what we going to do to absolve that. Because like I said, you changing your religion or making a nice inspirational song or doing some things for Chicago don't wipe away all the blood on your hands either. So, slippery slope. Like I said, I understand government is fucked up. We know how they work, but at the same time, if you went into that shit, got a different conversation.
Yeah, even like we say, oh, these guys are young. Like, we talk about the Sexy Reds and all these people. But it kind of too made me kind of remember the other day. It was like, yo, you had people like Fred Hampton, 20-some years old.
Yeah.
And, he was, an activist.
Yeah.
So it kind of like, is it really an excuse for anybody because they're young anymore? Like, we had leaders, all the great leaders were young as hell.
Yeah.
They weren't on no ratchet bullshit. They was trying to, unify and uplift and edify the people.
Yeah.
So, I get it. Everybody got different walks of lives and stuff. People are born here, people are born there. But it's like, yo, we got to start giving people excuses because this is causing destruction of a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, in a way, I feel, for some of these brothers, I ain't gonna lie, and these sisters, I feel because I understand, like, his dad was in prison. Like, this is all that he had.
Yep.
Like, the streets is all that you have. And you have, I always use this example, if you was born in a damn jungle, you better adapt to that jungle, niggas. Lion, tigers, and bears, and poisonous snakes.
You gotta live.
You got, but at a point in time, it's like, yo, you gotta get out of that.
Yeah.
And if you did so much dirt, so much blood on your hands, most of the time you have to pay for that. That's just what it is.
And here's my thing. Let me add on to that.
Yeah.
Because who knows what he did before he created his rap career and created a situation for himself where he didn't have to do anything anymore. The unfortunate part about Durk is we've seen moves, and I guess as the story goes on and as the trial goes on, we'll find out what he did while he was a rapper. But there was a lot of things he did as a multi-millionaire out here on these streets.
That's real shit.
Destruction that he didn't have to no longer do because he got out of these situations that he was objected to growing up.
So it's like, dog, come on now. Like at some point, okay, you might have did dirt, but once you got into this situation, it's like, all right, I gotta cut all this shit off. I gotta cut those people off. I gotta do right. I was only in it for this reason. I gotta cut off all that shit. But it seemed like he turned into a head honcho, and it went to his head, and it got even worse for a period in time. So I don't know, man. Like these young bulls, and like, what's he about? Damn near 30 now.
Yeah,
they
he's up
just
there.
they move different. Their minds are different, and they don't really see the consequences of their actions until, unfortunately, they shitting next to 10 other dudes, and that's their life. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
Yeah, and even like, you know, when you talk about Jay-Z, like people try to say Jay-Z ruined Beanie Siegels. Like, nah, Jay-Z was like, I'm trying to get you to make the transition from the streets to the fame, baby.
Yeah.
It's a time where it's like, yo, get out these streets, bro. We millionaires now. We gotta leave these streets alone. I know you got friends and stuff like that. You could be cool from a distance. Stop hanging with these thugs. Stop doing this stuff, because it's gonna, now you're looking at life in prison, bro.
Especially ones that continue to want you to stay in that bullshit. They ain't trying to vow for you to get out. Those ain't real friends, dog.
Right.
You're real people, but like, man, get the fuck up out of here. Like, go.
Is it an excuse though? Because it's like, all right, we talking about gangs, man.
Yeah.
When you talking about gangs, you talking brotherhood. You talking about, he may not be my blood brother, but that's my brother right there.
Yeah.
Would you?
I know it. You know it. All right, man. Slim Thug, a couple days ago, he took some heat, man. He jumped on his social media and he had some pretty strong things to say to the black community. Oh God, I want to play it and get your thoughts. Let's get it.